Hello everybody, this is SlickRick441 with another War of the Ring analysis video. This is a special file that I have in my saved logs against my opponent Skaarj, and this was a regular ladder match we had a couple months ago. And this was a very interesting one because it's something that I have not done before. It is a scenario where there was a early Grey Havens rush, where my Isengard units traveled west towards the Grey Havens early in the game. And you never see that. And before we start this, think to yourself, what has to happen for you to do that? What cards do you have to draw as a shadow to go for the Grey Havens? So let's get started. I'm the shadow. Skaarj is the free people. We're playing a base game, and we start our rolls, and the free people doesn't get any characters on turn one. Hey, don't like to see that, as the free people is not great. And as a shadow, I get my 2 musters, so I can bring in Saruman, and I actually bring him in first thing because I know you can't bring in Gandalf if you don't have any characters with Will of the Wests. And he goes ahead, starts playing some cards that let him draw some more cards, mustering in Lorien. I go ahead and congregate some Mordor armies. Pretty typical turn 1 stuff here. He goes ahead and he musters the Elves down 1. He also mustered Gondor down 1 too after I moved my Mordor units in preparation for attack on Osgiliath. And let's see. I go ahead, and so I actually make a mistake here. As you can see, in my starting hand, I drew the Many Kings to the Service of Mordor and the Lidless Eye, and you love to see Many Kings of the Service of Mordor on turn 1. It's a great starting card, but the mistake I made was I actually thought the Southrons and Easterlings needed to be at war to play this card. I kind of mistaked it with a horde from the east, and so I drew another card because I didn't think I could play it. It happens to the best. I strongly recommend reading the cards. It's actually a pretty good strategy. Then we go ahead and just move those units out of Mornon, and obviously this is a good position because you still have the option to go towards Minas Tirith, plus you can still go towards the Woodland Realm. Free people doesn't know which way you're going just yet. You can stick here and have lots of flexibility. And now for the turn 2, I put in no eyes. I'm thinking, okay, I've got 8 dice, probably one of them will be an eye, and since he didn't roll any characters last turn, my military victory percentage has gone up dramatically. And so that's why I didn't put any eyes in, but the worst case scenario has happened, where the no eyes have been rolled, and the free people rolls 3 characters, and of course that last die there can be used with a ring, so you can get 4 free movements this turn. And I go ahead and I draw another card, now thinking I can play Many Kings of the Service of Mordor, and now this is when it clicks in my head. Oh, hey, I have both the Rage of the Dunlendings and Stormcrow, and the Fellowship is still in Rivendell, so when you play Stormcrow, the effect is that whatever the nation the Fellowship is in, or a companion, goes back up on the political track, as long as it's not at war. And then the free people has to kill a unit from that nation. And so usually what happens is, the Fellowship is in an elven territory, and the free people will just take a unit out of the Grey Havens because, no one goes for the Grey Havens. So that's what happens. Bada bing, bada boom. And now, with Rage of the Dunlendings, I can muster an Isengard and then bring 6 units that are now just 1, 2, 3 away from the Grey Havens. Not bad. Not bad indeed. I could also go for Rivendell right now too, but that has, 1 more unit strength and a leader, and so, sometimes when everything just lines up, you just gotta go for it. Fellowship starts moving, of course, and then the shadow moves the units more towards the Grey Havens, and then also that other movement was, what was that other movement? Oh yeah, Gorgoroth to Minas Morgul. So now my Mordor armies are stationed for a attack. Oh, we go ahead and we start mustering down the Southrons and Easterlings, and this is, again, because I made the mistake of thinking that Many Kings needed the Southrons and Easterlings to be at war, and so you never see this. This is a wacky game. The Southrons and Easterlings and the Isengard are both at war before Sauron. It's crazy. In the end, it doesn't matter, though. Now I play mini kings, and I see that you didn't need to be at war. And I'm like, oh, I'm dumb, but whatever. Alright, we head into turn 3. We roll some dice, draw some cards. I have a red tile card, Threats and Promises. Bring everyone to war. He goes ahead, use the will. Maybe I have Day Without Dawn, but I don't. But he's safe. And now we go ahead and we move some Mordor armies towards Minas Tirith. And instead of moving both of them, I just move the one army. Usually I move both of them, you know. I can't say I have a good explanation for that, but having those southern units, you know, towards Umbar can really scare the free people a bit from the Corsairs. But of course I don't have that, so who knows what's up. He goes ahead, musters the Elves down, so I'm going to have to attack the Grey Haven soon, you'd think. But no, we're focusing on Gondor right now. You know, I'm not attacking the Grey Havens right now because I don't want to attack them while the Elves are, you know, at the top of the political track. You know, I've got time. You know, he still has a couple musters to go to bring the Elves at war. And you know, he does have enough right now. But as we're attacking Gondor, he's going to have to use those to reinforce Minas Tirith. You know, if he wants to hold on to it. So yeah, we go ahead, attack Osgiliath. He retreats into Lozernark, which is, you know, I see that happen, especially if only one unit in Osgiliath dies, because now if I want to take back, if I want to take all of Gondor, it's going to be tough, you know, because I'll have to use an attack for both Lozernark, Peligir, probably also Lambadon if he musters there later, or retreats there. You know, just you know, that's the goal of the free people, is to slow down the Shadow. You know, you're never going to stop them, you just got to slow them down. Well, you can't stop them if you have a military victory, of course, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, so I go ahead and I use a ring and the Palantir to attack Minas Tirith before they can muster and such. And then they go ahead and bring a unit into Dol Amroth in preparation for a Corsairs card, which I don't have. Maybe it would have been better for them to muster the Elves to maybe protect the Grey Havens. And actually, you know what? Even if they did muster the Elves, yeah, they would have got one muster in the Grey Havens, you know, if they had enough musters the next turn too. So, something to think about. But I guess another reason why I attacked Gondor there is to get the Witch King right here, right now. So now Gondor's at war, so the Witch King is in and ready to rumble. Going into turn 4, draw some cards, roll some dice. And a fellowship, you know, nice roll. Will of the West, 2 characters. You know, Gandalf is still alive. They're at the fellowship track 5, and Gandalf is still alive. And so the dice economy is not great, but you know, fellowship is moving just fine. Shadow gets a real nice roll with lots of armies. Go ahead and move is safe. Attack Minas Tirith. And I play the Lidless Eye, Words of Power, just so I could cycle it, and he plays Advantageous Position, so I kind of baited that out of him. And then I roll 6, 5, 6, 5, 5, wishing that I played Cruel as Death or something, you know, that would have been nice. But I didn't, I only get 2 hits, but hey, you know what, 2 hits is still pretty good, you know. But now we're down to 5 regulars in Minas Tirith versus 7 regular Shadow. And, you know, they say, you know, you're going to want at least twice the army to take it. So I do not have twice the army. And I draw Grond, so love to see it. But I'm probably not going to use Grond on Minas Tirith. The amount of times, you know, if I had a dollar for every time I use Grond on Minas Tirith and I kill the Witch King because of it, you know, I'd have like $100. So not using it there. We go ahead and attack it. Actually, I think we pressed there. We actually reduced an elite, and that's because I'm thinking of reinforcing it. So might as well use what I can there. We'll reinforce it later. Now we bring in some Easterling armies, and so now this is kind of an interesting situation here because usually I reinforce Minas Tirith with my Minas Morgul army. But now I move these units, as you can see here, I drew the Shadow Lengthens. And so what I do here, I play the Palantir, of course. You want to play that before you play the Palantir. And you know, the Fellowship could use that Will of the West to kill it right now, but they also need that for Gandalf too, in case they are able to get him out this turn. So he decides, you know, that's fine. Just one redraw for now is not the end of the world. And I'm able to reinforce Minas Tirith and bring a 10-11 strength army towards next to Dale. So now I'm thinking, okay, Woodland Realm and Grey Havens, those are the two weakest elf territories. So my plan is kind of working out, and we go ahead and attack Minas Tirith with a Deadly Strife. I get 4 hits, he gets 4 hits back though, and I'm happy to see that. You know, I'll always take a 1-for-1 exchange while attacking strongholds. And then we press, and I play Onslaught, and you know what, I probably shouldn't have played Onslaught since I had 5 regulars, 1 elite. I should just do a regular round of combat. Chances are very high I get at least 1/6, and so I'm basically kind of wasting this card, and I can always play it next round, you know. So yeah, we go ahead and we get the 1/6, and we don't even use the Onslaught, and now we got our first 2 points, and everyone's happy. And yeah, Fellowship goes, and I roll 6. He draws a 1, and Gandalf takes the 1. You know what? I would have probably done the same in this situation. You know, you got the Will of the West, so the only risk here is if I have Day Without Dawn, which unfortunately I do not. So I go ahead and I muster in Orthanc because I'm thinking he doesn't have a movement. He's definitely going to use the will to bring in Gandalf, and so just watch what happens here. I go ahead and I attack.
Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means.
Didn't have scouts, luckily. I leave 2 in Orthanc, and now he's got the decision to make. Well, do I use a ring to reinforce Helm's Deep right now, or do I do something else? And he goes ahead and brings the elves down, which, you know, I can understand that, you know, because the elves, you know, I'm not close enough to be doing damage right now, but I got an easy Helm's Deep. Love to see it. Alright, so we head on to the next round. We do some rolling, and he passes. He gets lots of musters, so probably, you know, if I was him, I probably, you know, if you mustered the elves last time, don't pass here. Use that muster to bring the elves to war, and then the Grey Havens will be looking pretty good. So I take advantage of the situation, and I move towards the Grey Havens, and I bring my units from West Harrendor down to Umbar. And now I don't have Corsairs, but now I'm threatening Corsairs. He doesn't know what I have, and so he's got the decision to make. Alright, do I want to muster elves, muster in Dol Amroth, and prep for that, you know, bring Rohan to war. Honestly, bringing Rohan to war doesn't make much sense, because if he does bring Rohan to war, then I'll just attack Helm's Deep anyways, so, and I can probably take 2 units out with my, what is that, a 7th strength army. So yeah, he musters in Dol Amroth, and so now I prepare for the attack of the elves, and so I attack Dale first. And I don't get any hits, which really sucks, because now we can retreat into the Woodland Realm. The North gets 1 away from war. Goes ahead and moves. I hit him with a 2, and then he does a random here and gets Strider, which, as the Shadow, love to see it. Now he cannot separate Strider, get another die, plus he can't use Strider's ability, so it always sucks. That's only a, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's only a 1/6 chance happening, but you know, you gotta understand, it's going to happen 1 out of every 6 games if you go towards the strategy of, you know, getting a 2 with Strider and taking a random. It's going to happen. You know, I probably would have done the same, probably, you know, because, well, you are at 8 movement and the corruption is at 0. You know, it's nice having the corruption just a little bit above 0 in case you have cards that can heal you. You know, especially if you have, ooh, you know, that one plant card, you know, that Strider uses in the movies to heal people. I forget what it's called, but it's good. And so that's the worst thing that could have happened to free people in that situation there. And now we go ahead and attack the elves. And a little tricky now, too, because he's got Círdan's ships. Grey Havens is not going to be looking very good. Grey Havens will probably hold. And he goes ahead and musters in the Woodland Realm, and then I don't take any chances, and we play Grond right away on the Grey Havens, and play Devil Weaver Orthanc on the first turn, killing 2, and then the next round getting at least 1, claiming the Grey Havens for myself. Love to see it. Any game that involves the Grey Havens, you know, you love to see it. And now the Free People thinks, okay, I could move into Erebor, but, you know, he did just redraw a strategy card, so maybe I should just use that to move, because, you know, if I don't get revealed here, I could get into Mordor with a ring. So that's what he does, but unfortunately he gets revealed. So really bad luck there for the Free People. Goes through Moria, draws a 3 from Moria, but loses a lot of characters. But you know what? It's a matter of speed at this point. So if you get Gollum, you know, that's pretty good, because you'll ignore the reveal tiles and you'll be able to get through Moria a lot faster. Alright, so now I go ahead and I make the decision to attack the Woodland Realm instead of Erebor. And, you know, I guess the reason for that is I do not want to worry about Dale later on. You know, the dwarves are not going to get mustered to war anytime soon here. So, you know, there's only a couple more units in the Woodland Realm right now. And I do have Dol Guldur ready to reinforce it. And so I think that's what I was kind of thinking there. And so the Free People then musters the north to war, and I go ahead and bring the Dol Guldur army north. You know, it is kind of iffy here. You know, that 8-1 army against the 2-2 army. There's a solid chance that I could take it without reinforcements, but you know, why take the chance? You know, but you know, the other thing too is attack it first and then reinforce. But the kicker here is that I do not have a character, and I want to attack it while the Witch King is there, so that I can swap cards. And so instead of doing that, we just move Dol Guldur up, and then we also moved Umbar into West Horrendor, because I believe Pelargir will have to be taken for that 10th point. Because where are the 10 points right now? We got Grey Havens, Woodland Realm, Helm's Deep, Minas Tirith. That's 8. And so then Pelargir and Dale will be those 2 cities for the 10th. Going into turn 6, having fun. Roll some dice, draw some cards. I get Horde from the east, Flocks of Crebain, so I love to see another Deadly Strife. The Fellowship rolls 2 wills and 2 characters, but of course they are 1 away from Mordor, so obviously going to get into Mordor this turn. The only chance the Shadow has is to play a Cruel Weather, which I don't have. But of course, I feel like the meta is most people just expect the Shadow to have Cruel Weather, you know, because the consequences of them having Cruel Weather are so severe that, you know, you'd much rather get revealed into Mornon than get caught with a Cruel Weather trap. Anyway, so we go ahead and use a muster. We get a regular Orthanc and a Nazgul and Minas Morgul. You know, mustering an Orthanc to prevent end cards is good. I don't know if that extra Nazgul needed to happen. You know, having a lot of Nazgul is great, but you know, I got musters, got to use them, so I got to use them for something. So luckily he does have the characters, so he can hide the Fellowship. I go ahead and I attack the Old Forest Road, you know, take it out before it can attack Dale. You know, if the Old Forest Road decided to attack Dale there, you know, they had a serious chance of taking it, and that would have caused a nuisance for me too. I mean, I would have just attacked them for the Woodland Realm and would have definitely won that, but a solid chance of, you know, causing a disruption. So I go ahead and I attack that right away, take him out. He does hit me once, but now I have more than enough units to take the Woodland Realm. So we attack it and do an early onslaught, and that's because we have the reinforcements, and he plays advantageous positions, so that's twice now this game where I baited that out of him. He did not play it at the right time. And so I get 1 hit, he gets 2 hits, and I put 4 on the onslaught because I know I have all those reinforcements, and I get 2 hits from the onslaught, so he's left with just 3 regulars. So now the Woodland Realm after the reinforcements should be a done deal. So he goes ahead and moves safe. I go ahead and bringing an elite into Orthanc. You know, I got musters, you know, and I'm thinking, well, where am I going to muster right now? I'm thinking, you know, Helm's Deep is looking kind of small. You know, there's always a chance where, you know, Rohan goes to war and is able to muster up a bunch and then take it back. So, you know what, let's play it safe. So now we use a movement to reinforce Old Forest Road and then go into the fords. You know, that's why I did the musters then, you know, instead of later in the turn. You always want to muster first before moving. You know, it just makes sense. And so now I'm looking pretty good in Helm's Deep. You know, I don't actually need to move those units in Helm's Deep to attack it. You know, it's a pretty for sure deal if I would attack it as is. The Fellowship moves again, you know, in preparation for us having a Cruel Weather, and gets revealed. And so we're able to kill off a bunch of the characters there. Well, actually, just Pippin, and then he gets a 0 reveal in Mornon. So not bad, not bad. I play a Shelob Lair. Good to see at this point. And then we got the Fighting Uruk-hai in Helm's Deep. So first round, free people can't play cards. So if they do have an end card, you know, that's why Fighting Uruk-hai is so great. So even if he does have end cards right now, can't even play it on that first turn. So I got a Deadly Strife, so probably going to kill him this turn, and I do. Alright, so now was able to get an easy Helm's Deep there, but now he's going to Mordor. If he goes fast, he can get it in 2 turns, so, you know, can I get my last 3 points this round? We will find out. Alright, so we draw some cards and roll some dice, and I get lots and lots of musters. And I go ahead, put a red tile in, and then we go ahead and get the mouth. And it's very interesting on regards to the free people that they don't just hide right away. You know, well, you know, of all the attacking cards right now, it doesn't really matter. The Fellowship is really there to go fast rather than hope for a you know, a safe Mordor, because, you know, all I need right now is Pelargir and Woodland Realm, and obviously Woodland Realm was going to be taken pretty easy here. Luckily, he did not have Thranduil's archers, so I go ahead and we keep mustering, and I muster an Umbar, thinking that okay, Pelargir might be kind of tough, and you know, I probably should have attacked Pelargir sooner than later before he could reinforce, and so now that I realize that, I'm like, all right, let's attack it. Wow, they got 3 units instead of 4 units. And I don't get any, he gets 1, and so I'm left with 8 units in Pelargir, and he plays Círdan's ships, and now Pelargir not looking too good. I go ahead, I bring some Nazgul in there, and also bring the Witch King to the Woodland Realm. So, you know, not great, obviously not great. The Free People makes a solid choice. They move into Lamadon to attack Pelargir, and they also move 1 Rohan elite into Edoras. Also a pretty good play there, because Edoras would be a pretty easy target as well. But we got to take out Woodland Realm before anything else, and so we play some cards, and we're able to take it out pretty smoothly. And now we are currently at 10 points. So Free People's got to take back Pelargir, but hey, you know, it's a 5-4 army versus just an 8 regular army. But the Shadow does have the leadership right now, and so that kind of will turn the tables a little bit here. As the first turn we play They Are Terrible, and you know, if you look at our hands, we do have Dread and Despair, which is a very powerful card right now, especially for defense. But I choose to do it on the next turn because of the fact that since I'm in a fortification, you know, the Free People is attacking with 6s instead of 5s and 6s. So we do a They Are Terrible first, and then they do a charge. And you know, here's another learning opportunity. You know, maybe don't play charge on the first attack of a fortification, because you know, the charge only hits on 6s for this first round. If you would have played that the next round, it would hit on 5s. And so he gets 0 hits on the charge, and unfortunately 0 hits with his next 7 dice. And then the Shadow gets 3 hits. So now the tides have kind of turned in this battle. He only has a 10 strength army where I have an 8th strength, but since I have 5 rerolls, you know, I think it is in my favor now, especially now playing Dread and Despair. I'm thinking that I can forfeit 4, but if you actually look at the army that I have in Pelargir, it's actually the Witch King, not the Witch King, the Mouth of Sauron is in there. So I'm only able to forfeit 3, but you know, it's still pretty good. And I roll just a stellar roll with 3 6s and 1 5. And luckily they have a shield wall, but that kind of spells disaster for the Fellowship here, as you can imagine. They were not able to retake Pelargir, which really is unfortunate. You know, they had a huge army there. An 8th strength army defeated a Free People army that had 4 elites and 5 regulars. And then with that battle, that's GG. There's nothing much else that they could have done there. So yeah, fun game. I hope you guys all enjoyed me chatting about it. A lot of learning opportunities. You know, make sure to read the text on the card. Play charge at the right time. You know, reinforcing Helm's Deep is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. You got to reinforce it because it's good. And early Grey Havens rush, you know, it's possible. I did it. Here's the evidence. If he had Círdan's ships though, that would have spelled disaster for me. So always risky. The whole game is just one big risk. So hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment for what you think of it. And I've been talking pretty fast here. It's less than half an hour. So I guess you don't need to play this at 2 times speed, I guess. So again, this is SlickRick441. Hope to play some of you guys. For those who aren't in the Discord yet, there's a Discord server to play War of the Ring. Get in there, play some games, and have a good rest of your day. See ya.